or who can last the longest.
Who can shoot the furthest?
Oh, that's a challenge. With accuracy. Bro acts like he's the host or something.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Ford
versus
fucking Ranger.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
There we go.
Take one.
Yeah, right. Oh, God, I hope not.
More like fucking Ford versus Ford. Jesus.
Right?
Right?
Seriously.
It's like Shelby versus Ford.
Yeah.
So,
I'll take Shelby.
yeah.
Any day.
Okay.
Yeah, 427. That's all I want.
Welcome to the Movies with Chill podcast. I'm your host, Chill. Today we'll be reviewing Ford versus Ferrari from 2019. Ford versus Ferrari is a sports docudrama directed by James Mangold and written by Jazz Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, and Jason Keller, based on the actual Ford team's efforts to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans race in 1966. So the movie is actually titled Le Mans 66 everywhere outside of the United States, and I think that's mainly because the Ford and the Ferrari name are more well known to the average United States citizen compared to Le Mans, which not a whole lot of people recognize. He's not peeing.
He's not. He's totally not. Peeing.
He's definitely not
Yes.
peeing.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Shake it off.
It was Mountain Dew.
Shake it off.
Sure.
There you go.
The contest is over.
Yeah.
I kind of want to leave that in.
Tie it into our last movie.
Right?
Starring Matt Damon, Christian Bale, Jon Bernthal, Caitríona Balfe, Tracy Letts, Josh Lucas, and Noah Jupe. American car designer Carroll Shelby and driver Ken Miles battle corporate interference and the laws of physics to build a revolutionary car for Ford in order to defeat Ferrari in the 24 Hours of Le Mans race in 1966. Today, as always, I am joined by Colton and Lee.
Oi, oi.
What's up? What's up? Unfortunately, we're missing David again.
Slacker.
I know. But we have guest JD back on the show. Welcome back, JD. How you doing,
The
man?
raid fame.
Yeah. Before we get into the movies, have you guys watched anything new recently?
I watched this.
You watched this?
Yep, watched it last night.
Okay,
Had a
cool.
good time watching it.
Yeah.
In here.
Nice.
Good time watching
Gotcha. JD, been watching anything new, like TV shows or movies or anything like that? No?
it. Too
Okay.
busy. He's a busy man.
He is a busy man.
Busy man.
Trying to
Yeah.
get that back.
Hey.
Getting ready to go to war.
Yep.
Good
Yeah.
times.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
So thanks for serving.
Stay safe.
Thanks for your service.
Speaking of, just before we get into that, you're a helicopter repairman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your take on the whole crash that just happened in the Hudson? The one that happened in the Hudson like 2 days ago.
I didn't even heard about that.
Oh, dude,
That's crazy.
it was a sightseeing helicopter coming over the Hudson, had a family in it. It was a Navy SEAL pilot, retired and became a helicopter operator like 2 weeks ago. It looked like the tail rotor broke off and then hit the main rotor, and you saw the main rotor just
going down,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then the cab, whatever you want to call that, goes
Cockpit.
into a barrel roll, just straight into the Hudson and killed everybody. It was crazy.
Damn,
dude.
I didn't know the extent
Crazy.
of it.
Dang.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they were from Spain, I think, and they were celebrating the wife's 40th birthday. And
Damn.
they had their 2 kids with them,
So
and
something like that was definitely a mechanical error.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know if that was like maintainer error or if that was like just the aircraft part broke. But I mean, a lot of that's kind of overview on that, like maintainers and stuff like that. We've had a lot of that, like with our side. Like we had the Apaches when I was in Poland, they blew tail rotors off. Like they ejecto seated off the aircraft.
That's crazy.
They lived, but they were at a 50-foot hover and it crashed and yeah, fucking my pretty good.
Damn.
That's nuts.
That's insane. He was telling me about the Jesus bolt on a helicopter.
That's what I
Jesus
thought.
nut, yeah.
That's
So
what
that
I
one-
thought.
Yeah.
Was what happened is that thing came loose and then hit the tail rotor.
Well, that one, depending on it, because ours is like one big nut, and it spins on, and it gets put on hand tight, and then you have like 12 bolts that like go against a thrust washer, so it like pushes into the threads.
Right.
So those all get torqued, and then that all holds it in place. And it has a locking ring that goes on top of that keeps the bolts from backing out. So I mean, and then it's
there's
basically
one
a
bolt.
sandwich too, so you got a
That's
lower pressure plate
I
that comes
understand why
up,
it's called the Jesus
and it's
bolt.
just kind of like presses. But if you lose that, those other bolts ain't going to matter. It's just going to go
yeah,
right up top
straight
of
through
it.
the top.
and it has to be hand tight. So
Yeah,
you don't.
so the Jesus nut is
Can't
just
torque
hand
it?
tight. No, it's 2 bolts that go here. It's just a circle nut and it's threaded. So you take 2 bolts, 180 from each other, and you spin it on hand tight. And it's just hand tight, and then you torque the other ones down
Okay.
to like the 12 bolts down to, I think the mass torque is like 790 inch-pounds on it.
Damn.
So a little bit over 150 foot-pounds. So that just torqued that up, and that's it. And then a locking ring goes over top of it, and that's it.
That's crazy, man.
Right.
I'm glad you do what you do. Keep it safe.
For sure. Our icebreaker this week is, what is your dream car?
We actually talk about this, me and him.
Yeah.
What's yours?
What's mine? I don't really have one, honestly.
There's got to be one car out there that
Like-
you're like,
I got multiple, but yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I have several. I have several to pick from. Like I could give you a list, and if you picked one, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick my number one, I'm going with the Nissan GTR R34.
Okay.
Really, that's
okay.
a valid choice.
That's good.
I honestly can't really pick one. There's a lot of cars that wouldn't mind having.
Jeep Gladiator.
No,
Toyota Corolla.
yeah.
I kind of grew out of the Jeep Gladiator phase. if I'm being
He
honest.
wanted one at a time, so at one time.
I'd probably prefer a Wrangler, honestly.
Jeep Wrangler? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Till you
Like the
got
Sahara or, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
probably,
like it
yeah.
until you got one.
Maybe
Yeah.
a Sierra, maybe a Rubicon.
Cool.
Rubicons.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would want a 1970s Chevelle SS 454.
454, yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are so freaking sexy, man. Oh my gosh, I love
Big
those.
block.
And every single time I see them, like they're used in a movie or something, and then
They wreck.
they wreck them, and it crushes my soul every time. I'm like,
Which
damn
one
it.
was
1970
Chevelle
SS.
SS.
Mine, I don't know. So, I'd probably take a 69 fastback with the 427 Cobra Jet in it, of course. And then, or with modern, probably a Shelby GT350.
Is that a
Because
Hellcat?
it's more, no.
No, that's a
No.
Mustang.
That's a Mustang.
Mustang. Okay.
It's a 5.2 liter V8 in it. It's like a 500, but not a 500. It's not supercharged.
I got
so
you.
It's more of a track package, and it's more my price range, so I can't afford it.
Yeah. But if you
500.
could, would you
Yeah, I
take the
couldn't-
Hellcat?
I couldn't afford my Nissan. There's no way.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, the 500 is good. It just, you can literally buy a bolt-on supercharger, and it's basically a 500 at that point with the track package suspension. And
Craziness.
then it's, yeah, so let's get a 350
Mm-hmm.
and make it better than the 500.
Right? Smart man.
There you go. I told you.
Yeah.
See, another one popped in my head just now.
Well, what's that?
Dodge Challenger, or is it Charger?
Which one? Is it is it two-door boat-looking one, or is it the...
It's two-door.
That's a
It's
challenge.
The Challenger.
I always get them confused somehow. I don't know how. They're like
You
different.
can afford a Challenger.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a 3.6.
Challengers
yeah,
are not
3.6.
expensive.
No.
Now, if you want a Hellcat, that's different.
Yeah, or a Demon.
Or a
Demon
Demon,
170.
or
SRT Demon's nice too.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Those are like 80 grand.
Well, they're not even. They discontinued them. So
Yeah, they quit making.
Good luck.
They quit making the gas engines last year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So whatever you're going to get is going to be used, and if you get a fast one, the value is just going to go up.
You could get a Toyota Prius, though.
You could drag race.
Yep.
You're not going to win a lot.
Nope, not going to win a lot. Dirty Mike and the boys constantly chasing you down.
Yeah, what's
right.
funny is that before we watched this movie, I started playing Forza Horizon 5
Okay, yeah.
for the first time. 'Cause I've never played any Forza Horizon game, and it's
a blast.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
I've learned a lot of cars that way.
Yeah.
It's like, because a lot of these car brands I've never even heard of, because a lot of them are like just not American. No one has them in the United States.
Oh shit.
I
love that.
Okay,
I love,
wise guy.
I love that game as well, and I wish I could play it at the moment.
Yeah.
I really do. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
So,
Good stuff.
there we go.
I'd probably go out and buy me a GT40
There you go.
in that game.
Dude,
So I
that
can afford
GT40 looks so freaking like the Mark II in that.
one. Once they put that 427 in there, it was just like,
Well, yeah, they did. I don't know what they were doing at 289. I don't know what they were doing
What-
at 289. What were you going to do with a
What were
small
you
block?
going to do with a 289? That's
Yeah.
what grandma. That's what they put in the grandma version
Yeah.
of the Mustang.
Yeah, that's when they came out with the inline six with a 64.5, and they messed up, and they knew they messed up, so they put the 289 in it to give it a little bit more pep. But I mean, they didn't really start making mass production until they hit the 302.
I'm trying to keep up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Just talking about the size of the engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep
Yeah.
up. It's just a lot of.
The Mustang was a grandma car when it first came out,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
and They turned it into something.
It was supposed to compete with Chevy Chevelle, but it never did.
It
never did. I don't know what they were thinking of. Let's put a straight 6 in it, because heck, even the base Chevelles were running 327s.
Yeah, or 350s.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't a like. Okay, let's put an inline 6 in it. Okay, great. Like,
let's have less power.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's not going to do shit.
Talk a little bit about the movie before we get into spoilers.
20 minutes in.
Right? So, Ford versus Ferrari has a runtime of 152 minutes. Premiered August 30th of 2019 at Telluride and a wide release of November 15th of 2019 in the United States. A budget of $97.6 million, and it grossed $225.5 million. Top box office for November of 2019. Any guesses for the top 3?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No clue.
Okay. Number 1, Frozen 2.
Ugh.
2, Ford versus Ferrari.
Nice.
Okay.
3, Terminator Dark Fate.
Never watched it.
4, Midway.
Midway wasn't that great though.
No.
I don't think it
Wasn't
was.
that great?
I don't think it was
No.
what it was made up to be.
No.
Yeah, they made it.
Overhyped.
It was overhyped. Yes.
Yeah. 5, Joker. 4. The first one was good.
Which
It was
one? Oh, the
It was
one with
okay.
Yeah.
One with
Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
First
The
one was
second
good.
one is just pure fucking
Trash.
drip.
Yeah. 6 is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. 7 is Harriet. 8, Playing with Fire. 9, Knives Out. And 10, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Mr.
So,
Rogers.
Okay.
biography.
Yeah.
Rogers, yeah.
fun facts about the movie before we get into spoilers. To prepare for his role, Christian Bale took race driving lessons at Bondurant High Performance Driving School. The school's founder had been a friend of Ken Miles, so Bale got to hear stories from the 1960s racing scene. Robert Nagel, Bale's instructor and the film's stunt coordinator, called Bale hands down the best actor I've ever trained. Matt Damon said that the number one reason he wanted to do this movie was so he could work with Christian Bale. According to Matt Damon, Christian Bale had to lose 70 pounds before filming. Bale had previously gained a lot of weight for his role in Vice and had 7 months to lose it all to play the lean race car driver. So 70 pounds in 7 months. Damon asked Bale how he managed to lose all the weight, and Bale replied that he simply just didn't eat. And Damon said that he was impressed by Bale's monk-like discipline. So
he is a method actor.
Yeah. In order to recreate the Le Mans circuit as it existed in 1960s, the scenes take place on the racetrack had to be shot in 5 different locations. This proved as a challenge in terms of continuity, as not only did the cars have to be correctly placed for each shot, but the weather had to be constant as well. VFX was crucial in fixing a variety of continuity issues, some of which were as simple as adjusting clocks to the right time.
Crazy.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Which I didn't even notice it was taken in like only 5 shots because of how it's filmed.
It was edited.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
edited
Nicely.
really well.
For sure. So, you guys have anything else about the movie before we get into spoilers?
No, this thing is really, really good. I mean, the
good movie,
cinematography
yeah.
and it's great. The sound is
Amazing.
superior.
Yeah.
Those engines are just sound great. Even on my limited sound bar at home, it sounded really good.
Yeah.
Acting is top notch in my opinion. You get Christian Bale on the screen, you're going to get an A game all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Who
That guy.
played Henry Ford?
The Deuce? Who was that guy?
Because that guy nailed it. I
Yeah.
hated him.
Yeah.
He was a dick bag.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
That guy was an ass for sure.
Josh Lucas,
Oh,
who
yeah.
played the...
The guy that took over racing that
Yeah.
wanted to get rid of Ken. If
Dick bag number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Bigger
Well,
dick
that was
bag.
just he never liked him from the get, but
No. So would you guys recommend people watch this movie? And if so, who would you recommend watch Ford versus Ferrari?
If you like a good drama and a little sports minded,
Yeah.
definitely
Anybody.
anybody
Yeah,
into cars.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
definitely
mean,
watch
even
Cars.
if you're not into cars, it still has the drama to it.
Right.
I mean, it's got good history behind it. I mean, all the facts are accurate.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even with it being the way it is, it's got all the facts are really accurate.
I think kind of what I was telling people prior to watching this movie is that when you hear the title Ford versus Ferrari, you're thinking, oh man, we're going to watch like a, go yay America, go Ford movie, and they're going to be facing off Ferrari in a race or something. I'm like, okay, which is basic gist of it, but that is not necessarily how the movie rolls it up. There's a lot more moving,
deeper, lot more nuanced.
Right.
Yeah. The straightforward. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting.
For sure.
And it was still...
Yeah.
Honestly, I was kind of expecting like a Fast and the Furious kind of deal.
Really?
So
Okay.
glad it wasn't.
Which I'm so glad it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't, yeah.
I hate Fast and the Furious so much.
I do like that they made it a realistic racing experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other than like what you were saying with the Fast and Furious,
And
where
their
it's
18
just
speed gearboxes. Yeah.
Right.
ridiculous, mind-numbing drivel. But whatever.
Yeah, and the way they explain everything too, it makes a lot of
Oh yeah, they
sense.
get into the science of why the car is acting the way it does, and it's really interesting to me.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like seeing how crap works.
recommend it, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Everybody? Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah. Spoilers on your count, Lee.
Racers to your position.
Ooh. But first,
Trivia.
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 Question 1. Where everything fades, the machine becomes weightless. It
6,000
disappears.
RPMs.
Damn.
And all that's left is body moving through space and time.
7,000.
At what RPM?
6,000.
7,000.
6,000.
7,000.
7,000.
7,000.
Whoa.
Dang.
That was the limit that Ford wanted to put on them for
Yeah,
running at
but I
6,000.
thought for sure at the end of the movie he said 6,000.
I knew for a fact.
7.
No, they wanted to limit at 6,000.
I know they did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Want to win or do you want to?
Right? It's like,
not
I want to
win?
race, but I'm going to put a limit on your engine. Then
Yeah.
you're going to lose.
Yeah. On the guy who built the car.
Right.
He
Yeah.
knows the limit of the car.
Yeah.
Ins and outs. What year did Carroll Shelby win the Le Mans?
1967.
No.
No, because that would have been after
that
this
was-
movie.
Oh, when Carroll-
61?
Shelby.
61?
Oh, Shelby himself?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 61.
I think
Because they went in 66. 65 is the one that went beforehand. 64.
1959.
59.
Yeah. So, how many days did Shelby and Ken Miles have to build the car for the 1965 race?
90
90
days.
days.
90 days. That's correct. Question 4. How much money did Ken get paid a day?
$200.
Plus expenses.
Yeah.
Plus expenses, yeah.
Question 5. Why is it called the Ford GT40?
Because the ground clearance
Has to be 40
has to be
inches.
40 inches.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
I did too. Crazy.
Yeah.
Because I always wonder why they always put weird ass numbers behind them too.
Mm-hmm.
It's regulation. So, like, a lot of the time, B&W still does it. So, their B&W does it with their numbers. So, that's their, so it's like the M321 or whatever they have.
3 Series.
That's a 3 series, but also 2, it's a 3.2 liter engine.
Really?
I gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Sense.
So, every time you see one, it's like, okay, that's a, until you get the X series, and they're just weird, but.
Right.
Let's get into our long form, not so long form discussion.
Yeah.
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 So how does the movie start?
It starts off with Shelby racing in the 1959 Le Mans.
Yeah.
And he's trying to stay awake because he's been in the car for
God knows how many hours.
Yeah, so many.
And it's dark, and he's starting to black out before he can cross the finish line and be the first American that's ever won Le Mans,
Right.
which was pretty awesome.
And also, like, one thing of note is there is no windshield at all. It is just him sitting in what like looks like a Pinewood Derby car, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
With goggles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a little engine. So crazy, craziness. How far they went in 10 years. You know what I mean?
I don't understand how they
I don't know how they did it.
how
I don't
they
either.
could sit in the car for that long.
I can't sit in a car for longer than like
for going 200 miles an hour
5 hours.
for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And turning and braking and shift. Oh God, you'd be exhausted after one shift.
Yeah.
Literally. I don't know how they would do it. Like 4 hours off wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So he's reliving that, and then it goes through a kind of a montage of what, not necessarily montage, but he goes to the doctor. Doctor basically says, hey, you've got a heart condition, so can't be racing anymore.
Can't be racing.
And
Got a faulty valve.
faulty valve. So
Which
he's,
they could fix these days outpatient.
yeah,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
that's how it was 60 years ago.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Yeah. We're going through, and Carroll Shelby is now a car, kind of small
Salesman.
car
he
manufacturer.
owns his own company.
He owns his company.
He owns Shelby American.
What he's doing is he's buying engines from Ford.
Okay.
That's what he's doing to build his Cobras, right?
Yeah.
But he's being kind of a con man on the backside too, by selling cars that's already been sold,
Right.
making money and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
he's way behind on production.
he's way behind on production. So
He's gonna go under if he doesn't watch it.
right.
Yeah.
Which is why you have the Shelby Mustangs, because he did.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. He's also in the racing league. We get introduced to Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale. Christian Bale is actually using his British accent throughout this movie too, right?
Yes.
And I loved it.
Which is
Yeah.
a really good accent.
Well,
Well, that's his.
that's his voice.
That's his
He's
voice.
British.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. So,
No idea.
yeah.
I had no idea.
He's British.
Him and Carroll Shelby have a complicated relationship just to.
Well, I wouldn't say it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's more of like Kim Miles ain't going to deal with the bullshit.
Exactly.
Right? He's not going to deal with this. Oh, this technicality here and the technicality here.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't a big deal. Like my trunk don't fit a damn baggage piece in it. Who
Yeah.
cares? Like I'm
Right.
racing.
I'm racing.
Right. I'm
Fucking
racing.
racing.
Yeah.
So where Carroll Shelby's more on the side of it, he has to be the political aspect. He's the company, right?
Yeah.
This is supporting his company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's racing a Cobra, so that's supporting the company.
Right.
He has to have that political aspect of it. He has to kind of
Kiss ass.
kiss ass, take the bullshit, which is the bullshit. Where Kim Miles doesn't have to. He doesn't have that responsibility on his hands.
Right.
So where Ken's just like, no, let me freaking race and let me show you what this car can do, and then you can go buy the car at Shelby. Like,
Yeah.
that's the whole point.
Exactly.
And where he has to kind of make those
Decisions.
decisions and
Micromanage everything
not
and
really
play.
micromanage, but just kind of like network.
Yeah.
Kind of network,
Yeah.
right?
He's talking with Porsche at that point, like during
Yes, at the first race.
at the
yes.
first race.
Said it.
I know.
What? So, like, I had like a whole discussion on if you say it like Porsche or Porsche.
It's Porsche.
According to the German that he dates, she says
It's
Porsche.
Porsche.
It's Porsche.
So, like, I don't understand. Like, do I say Porsche or Porsche?
Well, you know how we feel about the Germans.
The Germans.
Per
Shout out
the-
to Erica if you're still listening.
Per the movie quote.
She doesn't listen?
World champions, back to back.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
I'll have her or listen to this exact episode.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
she can get mad.
That we said
Well, no,
Porsche.
because you know, she's
Instead of
interested in
Porsche.
cars, so
Yeah.
go inside.
Right on.
Gotcha. Cool. Ken Miles he's getting pretty heated with the regulatory board
Right.
member, or you know what I mean,
inspector. It's an
inspector,
inspector,
kind of
yeah.
going through, and it's like, oh yeah, you should have so much trunk space, and
Wants to disqualify the whole team
yeah,
For a trunk.
for a
space.
trunk that A, doesn't shut, and B, doesn't have enough room in it.
right.
It makes no difference because I'm going around a racetrack.
When you were a little kid, did you want to grow up? Yeah,
And enforce subparagraph.
yeah.
So suffice it to say, Ken Miles was not afraid to be an asshole when he needed to be an asshole.
right,
Yeah.
And he did not care who
you
he
were.
offended
exactly.
Didn't care.
because I'm here to do a job.
And that job is to race and build cars.
That's right. Let's
So.
do it.
Yeah,
He was damn good at it.
I'll tell you what, through the entire movie, Christian Bale gave an amazing performance on the joy of driving a damn race car.
yeah,
Like, that would have been me in that cab, just having the absolute best time of my life.
Yeah.
Pushing that thing to its limits and seeing what I could get away with in that thing.
Right.
Of course, I would have wrapped it around a tree or something.
Right.
Because I can't drive for shit. But
yeah,
Brake fade, brake fade.
yeah.
Oh, man, that was scary right there.
Both times was terrifying.
Oh,
Yeah,
those things start glowing. I'm like, that
I
can't be
could,
good.
I could genuinely only imagine
that it. Yeah,
the situation. You're just like, I am.
But you don't
200.
know it until you touch the brakes.
Yeah.
If that brake fade, it's just like, oh, I have brakes now on this curve, and I go down the next one, I overheat them too much on that curve, next thing you know, I ain't got brakes.
Yeah, I
got
think
brakes.
that
And
I think that
now
makes it
I'm
worse.
going 200 miles an hour
Because
Yeah.
friction doesn't happen with heat.
because I
So then you're not
just
stopping.
pegged this thing on the straightaway, and now I've got a hairpin. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
just to kind of briefly go through the movie, and then we can touch on points if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Ford, they're losing in sales by
The biggest
Ithaca.
sales slump in Ford history.
Right.
And they can't get off the ground. They can't get any traction in any markets. Chevy is kicking their ass, and they know it.
Yeah.
And then the guy this is one of the problems I had with the movie is their choice for Lee Iacocca, Jon Bernthal. I just don't see that guy playing Lee Iacocca. I
Okay.
don't see Jon Bernthal playing a stuffy
Suit.
corporate
Right.
car salesman, basically.
Yeah.
But he did fine. It's fine either way.
Yeah.
So he has the bright idea that we need to get into racing. And he goes, we already have a race team. He's, yeah, but we don't race anywhere but in America.
We're regional. Yeah.
We're racing NASCAR.
We're racing NASCAR, and that's it. You want to race Formula One. You want to race Le Mans.
Mans.
You want kids to buy your cars.
From
Then you
other
better make them.
countries.
They better be sexy. They better be fast, and they better be tough. Because these kids want to go fast.
Yeah.
And now they got the money to do it. So what you want to do? And they shoot it down.
Yeah.
Immediately. He's like, no, we're not doing it. And then he goes, well, Ferrari's broke. Maybe we should just buy them, and then we could have a race team. And they're like, well, that's a good idea. So we'll go. So he sends Lee Iacocca over to Italy to meet Enzo Ferrari, which
He
I
messed
thought
it completely up.
I thought this was an excellent scene.
Yeah.
Because I knew, I was like, you're going to go into Ferrari and you're going to tell him you want to buy his company, and then you want 90% control over his
So they went
manufacturing.
in.
I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Balls on
This
man.
Italian's going to
can't
tell you to
go
get
in there.
fucked so fast.
Yes, you can't go in there big dick swinging whenever you don't even have a racing company. You haven't never won Le Mans.
You've never even raced Le Mans.
Never raced in Le Mans. So how can you go in there and tell him I want your company and nothing?
Right.
That's why Fiat came underneath them. Was like, you know what? We'll buy the company. You have control over it.
Yep.
And that's what they should have done with Ferrari.
Yep.
They should have been like, hey, we're going to take your expertise to do
Ford.
this to Ford, but we want to buy your, we know you're going bankrupt. Let's help you out. Let's buy the company. Keep your Ferrari name. Just know that, hey, we will be using Ford engines and stuff like that, but you will have full control of this company and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's
Would've been
what
smart.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
What do they,
You can't go over to another company.
They offered him
Money?
$10 million.
Yeah,
$10 million.
which is laughable.
Well, this is 1966.
1960. That's a lot of
That is-
money.
That is true.
Well,
So
1964.
that wasn't, it wasn't
probably.
the problem of the money. It was a problem of control.
And your
Right?
attitude.
And the attitude that came in. They
You
were
were
walking
very
in like they
disrespectful.
Right. They were trying to walk in like they already
On the place.
owned
Yeah.
the place. And it's like, you have never,
You've never
you
done
don't
anything.
even have a name in this country.
And then
And the
in
final.
Europe at all.
the best insult when Enzo finally gets pissed off and he gets his offer from Fiat for $18 million and he gets to keep his company.
Yeah.
He comes in and tells Lee Iacocca that, A, you're not getting my company. You can tell your pig-headed fat boss of yours that he ain't Henry Ford. He's Henry Ford
For
the
the
second.
second. Oh.
And that right there, I was like, well, if he actually tells him what he said, that might push him in the right direction to do what he
You're
needs to
all
do.
sons of whores.
And what do you
Yeah,
know?
right.
He goes back home and he goes, what
Henry
exactly
Fordson.
did he say about me? And he told him, he goes, all right, I want the best engineers. I want a team on this today. We are going to win Le Mans and we are going to bury Ferrari at the finish line.
Yeah.
That then was like, well, you pissed off a giant.
Yep.
Let's see what they can actually do with it.
For sure.
And Lee Iacocca comes and visits Shelby and asks him what it takes to win Le Mans. And he goes, well, money's not going to buy you a victory.
No.
It'll buy you the car, and it'll get you in the door, but it won't buy you a win. No. You got to have the driver driving the car, and hopefully everything works out perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the potential of winning.
Right. And from then...
And I love, too, that he said, even with a blank check, well, that's a start.
Right? Right. So Shelby knows he's got to get a driver, and he knows exactly who he wants to drive, and that's good old Ken Miles.
He's never lost.
No, the dude was a beast.
Never lost a race.
He had just won Sebring. He tells him, like, we got 90 days to build this car.
And Ken Miles is just laughing in their face. He said, you realize, too, that when you go through Ford, there's 16 floors. Everybody in a suit is going to want to take a picture with the great Carroll Shelby. And then after they meet you, they're going to find 16 ways from Sunday to try and screw you over.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they did for the whole freaking film.
Exactly.
I didn't understand how the male ego can fuck something up so easy.
Yeah.
Like, if Josh Lucas's character would have just shut his mouth, they would have won this thing the year prior.
Yes.
And all by themselves.
It's only because they didn't want Kim Miles on it. Because
Exactly.
later on in the movie, when they go to the reveal of the Mustang, where Carroll Shelby was speaking on the fact of, hey, we're going to go into racing, we're going to go win the Le Mans. Well, first off, he disrespected his son completely. Like, anybody is going to, tell him to go F himself.
His son, played by Noah Jupe, goes up, and this is the first release of the Mustang. And so his son is kind of going through, and it's like, Dad, this is so cool. And Ken Miles is like, I'm not a big fan. It's crap. And
Straight up says it's
You need to lose 500 pounds somehow. And put a bigger engine in it.
Right.
And then maybe you'll have a Chevelle.
But right now,
I'll still buy a Chevy Chevelle over this.
But right now, it's just the secretary's car.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's what it was.
and
I mean, that's...
It's a little runabout car.
Yeah. Still is.
Well, I don't know about still.
Anyway.
GTs are still pretty nice.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a 350 or 500, they're still pretty nice. I'd drive one.
Yeah. Okay.
To a point.
Better than my truck.
Okay.
That's a pretty
I
low
drive
bar
a
to
Dodge truck, so yeah, I think a Mustang would be a step up from where I'm at.
I got you. But basically, he tells the production leader of the Shelby Mustang, like the project overhead guy, the guy that's been working on this car and this rollout for years, that, oh yeah, the car that you built is crap.
It's dog shit.
Yeah.
And to his face. And then he moved on, and lo and behold, Josh Lucas's character,
Yep.
which is that guy, is that. And so he just pissed off the wrong dude right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
And that right there, that is what he took and held on to so much from Ken, was that first interaction.
Yeah.
So stupid.
That was it. That
So
was it.
stupid.
It was just because somebody said your
Male
car
ego.
was shit.
Male ego.
And that was it.
Telling you.
It took him off.
Male ego. Do
But
it every
also
freaking
too,
time.
he was very much a kiss ass to fucking Henry
Oh,
Ford.
yeah.
100%. You could see that through the whole thing.
Everybody in the room was a kiss ass of Henry Ford.
Yeah.
For sure.
Except for Shelby, which he did, but he didn't. He told him, like, look, I'm not going to. He basically
Sugarcoat
went
it.
in there and didn't blow smoke up his ass. He told
Yeah.
him, like, if you want to win, this is what we got to do.
Right.
And he had to do it like 3 times.
Yeah.
To finally make his point. And, the third time where he takes him for a little spin in that bad boy and figures it out that I had no idea.
Man spills $9 million on a car and wants to see.
Oh, he
That's
saw
what
it,
I-
all right.
I
Yeah, you
would
did.
have loved to have been
Set on
sitting
his
there.
nuts. So,
I
yeah.
would have loved to have been sitting there. And that was with Shelby driving. Can you imagine what he done with Ken driving?
Oh,
He probably would have killed him.
yeah.
100%.
So we did get a fun scene too of they're flying in this private jet with Shelby, and Shelby's like, "Oh hey, you mind if I take command and land this bad boy?"
Flew B-29.
I flew B-29s in the war.
Yeah. And they're like, sure. And then they're flying, they have the car show, and then this plane is like nosediving down, and then it kind of flattens out, and then it does a flyby over everybody. And
Does like to make an entrance.
it's showing all these suits, including Lee Iacocca, inside this plane, and they're like, oh, Jesus.
Maybe we should buckle up.
Right. Lands it perfect, and it's like,
Just a
I
little
wouldn't say
tailspin.
much of a perfect landing. He kind
No.
of hit on that left wheel.
yeah.
Everyone's alive
He was
still.
kinda-
Yeah.
he was
We're
kinda-
good.
he
We're
was
Any
good.
landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Yeah, right?
I'm saying.
So we get a fun scene there. He gives a good speech, and Ken Miles is thinking like, oh yeah, he's going to include me on the speech because he's like, in order to win Le Mans, can't be just your normal average person. You have to be somebody with a dream, somebody with vision, and there's only one other person that I know. And as an audience member, you're thinking, oh, he's going to say Ken Miles. Nope, Henry Ford.
Henry Ford.
Henry Ford and I, we're going to go out there and we're going to race Le Mans. So,
Good times.
yeah. Ken Miles, pissed off, kind of walks off.
We leave, yeah.
Yeah, they leave. Him and his son, he comes out, Carroll Shelby, and this is ongoing thing too, where Ken Miles gets pissed, he goes home, and then Shelby pulls up in his
And his Cobra.
and he's sitting there, hey, can I take you for a ride? Hey, can I
30 minutes.
show you 30 minutes?
Let's show you something.
Yeah.
Which, now, this is the part where I was kind of irritated with is, well, we got 90 days to build this car. They already had a prototype.
Yeah.
So,
How much time? Well, I'd imagine that so much
So I'm pretty sure they were already
in production.
in production of it per se, but but it was just shit.
it wasn't going to be a production car, though, was it?
I don't know if it
Is
was
a test car.
I think it was
basically.
a prototype probably.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the cars that race in Le Mans are prototypes.
Yeah.
They're prototype cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
gotcha.
it was probably a prototype, and
Yeah.
it was just complete shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love that Ken goes out. They're working out of an airport hangar.
Yeah.
You know, and so they pull up, and Ken's doing like racing through this homemade course.
Right.
He comes back. So what'd you think? And Ken lists off, oh, this is shit. This is shit. The front nose is shit. This
And
is
you
shit.
know, past 140, it wants to live, wants to act like a damn plane, wants to take off.
Yeah, right. And then
Downforce on
it
it.
said, anything else?
Well, give me another shot.
Let me, and he gets back in.
Let me go
Yeah.
around again. Let me tell you what else is wrong with this piece of shit.
Right.
See how we can fix it.
So also, Ken Miles owns a mechanic shop, and he has this customer, and the customer's like complaining about, oh, the vehicle's backfiring. It's scaring the crap out of the dog. And he's like, well, you bought a race car, so you have to drive it like a race car. You can't drive it like you're going and getting milk every single time going to the store.
I think this was earlier in the movie.
It is early in the movie.
It's earlier. It's right before IRS shows up and closes him down. And then that's when Shelby comes in and is like, hey,
Yeah.
Do the thing.
So
here's your out, basically.
basically, we're setting up that Ken is kind of in need some money. His shop gets closed up by the IRS because,
Yeah, not paying taxes.
not paying taxes, and also he's probably not making a whole lot of money keeping everything in
No.
production the way that he's bullheaded. And they even call him Bulldog throughout the movie. So,
He was a nice guy.
yeah, I'm sure he was. Ken Miles talks with his wife, and he starts working for $200 a day for Carroll Shelby to build a race car to go to Le Mans. We get a really fun scene of going through the Mark I of the GT40, and
Yeah, there's a 289 in it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
They reached it to its limits. They couldn't do no more to it. And that's what he's like, we need another engine. And
Yeah. They need more weight in the front.
we need more weight in the front. And then that's when they went to NASCAR. Because NASCAR built the 427. And then that's when they were like, hey.
this was not in the movie, but
No.
no.
But they went there. It was in the movie when they went there.
Yeah,
And then they were like, hey, it's 55 pounds lighter. We got aluminum heads on it.
Okay, yeah.
Smaller valves, which means more compression ratio. It can run higher at higher RPMs for longer
Wow.
duration.
Cool.
So they were like, yeah, throw it in there.
Yeah.
And they had to do a whole retrofit of it. But it needed it.
Yeah.
It needed the power.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just
And
like
you,
lacking.
You could tell the difference when Ken got in it after they put the
it took off.
427. And he goes, that's what I'm talking
There we go.
about. More of that, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally get a good car going. Lee Iacocca talks with Shelby, and he's like, hey, so we have somebody else that's going to be overheading the race department. Really sorry to tell you. Basically, Josh Lucas's character tells them that, hey, Ken Miles isn't going to be racing. We've got these other drivers that are going to be going to Le Mans.
McLaren and Bondurant. The like. I thought Ken took it well the first time they told him he wasn't going to Le Mans with them. And he goes, well, tell the boys this, that it runs hot, and they got to watch the gearbox and this and that and the other thing. And
He just had to reroute the oil line so it didn't spray back on the front caliper.
Yep.
So they didn't, no more brakes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he took it surprisingly well. Honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think
thought he
it
did.
hit his pride. You seen it
Yeah.
hit his pride hard, but he was just like, hey,
Nothing I can do about it.
Nothing I can do about it. Like, let's go racing.
Yeah. So he spends the duration of the Le Mans race, and he's in the airport hangar, and he's just
wrenching away, man. He's
Yeah.
just making it better. Mm-hmm. Make it better.
Yeah. And they end up not winning.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 cars break down.
Well, but one blew a head gasket, one blew the gearbox, and then one blew a piston. One
Yeah.
blew through a
One
rod.
through a rod.
Went through a
the
rod.
other 2 through a rod.
Yeah.
So finished.
None of them finished.
I don't even know if the 4th one finished, but I know even if they didn't win.
They didn't
Yeah.
win.
Shelby is sitting down after they have just lost the race, and he's sitting in like a waiting office, and there's like 4 or 5 secretaries sitting around, and he's watching the mail guy come in, and he's got this red folder, and then it gets passed from one secretary to another secretary to another secretary that takes it into the office to one of the
one of the
suits,
guys,
and then the
and
suit looks at it, and then it sends it up to Josh Lucas's character, and then Josh Lucas takes it and hands it over to Ford. And so he comes in, and Ford is like, give me one good reason why I don't fire everybody associated with you right now.
Because you got Ferrari right where you want him.
Yeah.
Because even though we lost, Ferrari never saw a car that fast ever.
Yeah, 218 on the backstretch.
So he knows that we can build the car to go fast enough.
Yeah.
All we got to do is put a driver behind it, and we can bury this guy.
And that's Ken Miles.
And we have way too many freaking chiefs and not enough Indians, and I need to report to one guy. And Ford's like, you do. You report to me.
Mm-hmm.
Miles is back in after some persuasion from from Shelby and having to beg.
A fight ensued.
They did fight.
Yeah.
Which was pretty funny. Oh, that was
I call the camel bite, or what was it?
Call
No,
that
the
one
the llama bite.
The llama
Llama
bite.
bite.
Yeah.
I love the part where he's going to hit him with something. He picks up a can and he puts it down. Then he picks up the bag of bread.
And he starts
hitting
beating him with the
he
bread.
doesn't want to hurt him,
Right.
but he wants to humiliate him.
And
Yeah.
then Ken's wife comes out, pulls up a chair, and just watches.
And watches him doing it.
It's good stuff.
And Ken Miles looks over. Hey, babe, you give me a fuzzy pop? And
Fizzy pop.
and
Remember
he's
one
like,
too? No, he gets his own.
he gets his own.
Yeah.
He's-
Don't get
yeah. So I also too love that Carroll Shelby, after he's telling him 218 on the backstretch, he said, "You got him right where you're welcome. You're welcome."
That's right.
Anyway, they start working on
The car again.
the GT40 Mach 2. And as they're going, he's doing a test. And as they're going around one of the curbs, the brakes
Yeah, the brake fade.
brake fade, which is, for the viewer, it is the brakes on the side are
No, it's
red.
Yeah, it's your brakes.
The
It's your
brake,
brakes.
yeah, they
So what
go
happens is-
super hot.
Yeah.
and then you can't stop
Yeah.
because
The
brakes fail.
Grip.
yeah, too hot to grip. You can't. You heat. It doesn't grip.
But what I'm saying is, when you're watching the movie,
You can
you
see
as the
the
You
viewer,
can see them glow.
yeah, glow in
They get
red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll get
We
red
know
hot.
that's not good.
Yeah.
That can't
Like-
that can't be good for
Anybody.
So we see the vehicle crash, and then it literally just
bursts into
blows.
flames
Right.
while his son's watching
Yeah.
Yeah,
the whole time, which would have been scary. as
Tragic.
hell.
Yeah.
right.
And
Which the reason why it blew up first, because the gas tank's in the front of that, right?
Okay.
This rear engine car. So
Yeah.
it hit, and it probably spilled some fuel on those hot brakes, and it
Yeah.
ignited. That's how it happened. It wasn't the initial
crash.
that did
Impact,
It.
yeah.
It was already on fire before it even hit.
That's
It just when
insane.
it hit, it just everything at once just ignited.
Lit and boom.
Yeah.
Craziness. He's able to get out and survive because they wear flame-proof suits,
Yeah.
you know,
They don't
and
always get out though,
they don't always get out. So,
unfortunately.
A little bit of foreshadowing.
right.
A little bit.
Hair.
Yeah. So they realize that we need to be able to switch out the brakes
The
to
upper-
prevent,
upper right, yeah.
So
to brake fade.
They make a whole brake assembly that they can pull off with
Upper
the
angle,
rotor.
lower control arms,
Yeah.
all that. Just
All that just pulls out, bolts
Yep.
back in,
Which is
Upper right assembly,
really,
yeah.
really fucking smart.
Yeah.
For sure.
yeah.
which probably would have taken a couple of months to figure out, but they had all kinds of time. They had a whole year to get ready
Yeah.
for the next race.
Yeah.
So.
Josh Lucas's character, for whatever reason, gets put in charge again over Carroll Shelby.
I think Ford got bored with it, and I'm sure Josh Lucas's character was chirping in his ear.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The entire time. Let me take over the race team. Let me take over the race team. And he finally gets to take over the race team, and he comes down, and he's going to fire Ken Myers. And Carroll Shelby's like, nah, it's not happening, fam. I'm not losing my driver. So he separates Lucas's character from Ford, and he gets Ford to take a test drive in the car with him. He goes, man builds a $9 million car. He wants to see what it can do.
Yeah.
He
So,
neglected to mention
They locked him in the
how
office.
he separates.
well, he tells him there's a phone call, and then he takes him in the office and shuts the door and locks it.
Locks Josh Lucas in.
Not before closing all the blinds, too.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
so nobody can see him.
Right.
And then the other mechanics are revving engines, so nobody can hear him yell.
Right.
So he takes Ford out in the GT and blows his mind
Yes.
on how fast this car is and what it can do.
This dude is just...
He is just
Hollering.
shitting his pants the entire time, and just like, I can't imagine what it would be like. Your average Joe gets into something that fast at that point in time in history when 200 miles an hour was unheard of.
Yeah.
What would you say his emotion was? Was it like fear or like excitement,
I think it was
or
a-
like a mixture
He just
of both?
blown away.
All of it. He was scared for his life, but having an amazing time doing so, and didn't understand any of it, like how any of it was possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's just pure like Jesus.
Astonishment.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
just,
it's astonishment.
He was in
Damn.
awe of that machine, and he goes, he kept crying. I didn't have any idea.
And one of
I
the-
didn't know.
Bill was talking about how, see, it's about right around that curb is when people usually lose their lose their bladder.
Shit their
Or
pants,
shit their
and
pants.
vomit.
Right.
It was badass.
There-
So then he finally sees the light. Ultimatum. He goes, let Myers drive at Daytona. If he wins, He drives at Le Mans. If we lose, you get Shelby American.
You own Shelby.
Forever.
Forever.
Big gamble.
Yeah. Huge
Which
gamble.
was, thank God it didn't happen because
Yeah.
I want to thank Keep It Ford alive this Shelby.
Yeah.
So they go to Daytona, and of course, Ken Miles wins Daytona.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it was close in that one because I don't.
No, it was because
It was
he
close.
It was because it's between him and the other GT40 racer.
Right. I'm just saying,
So-
but other than the Fords, nobody was close.
No,
Yeah.
The Fords blew him out of the
they
water.
blew him out of the water.
So he ends up winning over Josh Lucas's back driver, which was, I think was McLaren.
I believe it was McLaren.
Barry McLaren. Yeah.
And so he gets to go to Le Mans.
Well,
And-
Barry McLaren still went.
Yeah,
There was
they
just
went.
another. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if this was the thing of
Yeah, if Myers didn't win, he wasn't going.
they're gonna
Yeah.
He wasn't
they
going
were
to be
gonna
part of the
fill
team.
that spot with somebody else.
Yeah.
So he wins. He gets to go to Le Mans, and then his son is. They have a good little moment where he tells him about the track and goes through a lap and tells him, and that you got this curve and you got to peg it here and this straightaway, but you got to watch it on your shifting here and your brakes.
Which
And he
is
goes,
crazy to like. It really is crazy to think about because you don't, as your average Joe, you don't realize what because you. Oh yeah, I got to brake around this corner. Oh yeah, I got to do this. But you're not thinking about the little minute stuff of if the engine gets too hot or all of these little aspects of like if I get a
If I
ship to
brake
heat.
too late, I'm gonna have too much speed to go in the corner, and I'm gonna slide
Right.
off the track.
But if
Right.
I brake too soon,
Then I just gave up because now the person on my butt's gonna pass me
Yeah.
now. Like you gotta
There's so much
precise.
more to it
oh
than
yeah,
And you gotta know when
just
to push the limit,
hitting the
and when
pedal
not
and
to.
driving around the track.
Exactly.
There's more to it.
so. Which is, crazy. So Christian Bale, I was really impressed by him going through this crayon drawing of the track and then him going through bit by bit on...
And this is a guy that's never raced the track.
Right.
Yeah.
He had never been to Le Mans before,
Right.
but he knew every turn of it because that was his life, was racing. Mm-hmm. And I really, I dug that moment between him and his son, and he's telling him, and you can tell the passion in the sport for him.
Yeah.
And I thought it hit home with his kid pretty well.
There's a scene too earlier where they're sitting outside of the airport hangar and he's like, "Do you see it out there?" He said, "Most people can't see it, but it's the perfect lap. There's no mistakes. Everything just runs smoothly.
Every gear shift is perfect.
Everything
braking
goes."
is good.
And when you think about something like that too, it is crazy because even today, you can only go so fast around some of these corners.
Right.
You can only go brake so hard or whatever. Somewhere out there, somebody has done as fast as you can around one track or whatnot.
One lap, yeah.
Crazy to think about. Yeah.
It really is.
I'm getting a freaking headache.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good. Well,
He's going to Le Mans, and surprisingly, we still have an hour left in this movie whenever we get to Le Mans.
that race was grueling just to watch.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they, again, 4-hour shift in that car going that fast for that long, and you have to pay super attention to everything all the time. A state of hyper vigilance that I don't know how you sustain it.
It's just pure exhaustion.
I can't imagine you'd want to sleep for 2 days after a 4-hour shift in that car. Yeah, I think, and then you add night or you add rain. And
Which all happened.
right,
Yeah.
this race was just, it was so much fun to watch, but it was so tense at the same time because you thought you're not going to have a shot at Ferrari. These
Right.
guys were born to race cars. They were brought up in the race car lifestyle. This is you, son, at age 6. This is what you're going to do for the rest of your life is race cars. And they perfected their craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And it was a monumental task to go in and beat Ferrari at his own game. And that Ken Miles just drove his absolute ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Just
He drove.
push that car to the absolute limit of mechanical safety and what's the word? Constitution.
Yeah.
What's holding it together. I feel like when you finally shut the engine off on that thing, it just fell apart.
Right.
It's like, I'm done. You can't race me anymore.
It's kind of like what Shelby was saying the first time around. He's like, well, just about everything fell apart, and honestly, I'm not even sure if the paint's still on that thing.
Right. So we're racing along, and foreshadowing happens again, and the brake fade happens.
Yeah.
And we go down basically 2 laps to Ferrari,
And also with the door, because when
his door wouldn't shut the first lap.
Yeah, right out of the gate, the door won't even shut. So he gets 1 lap around and pulls in. And they're
Ferrari's
like, he's
way ahead.
pulling in. You're pulling in.
First lap. They take a mallet to it and they just freaking
slam
boom.
it so he can get out
Yeah.
or get in. He takes off again. He makes up that time miraculously, and then the brake fade happens.
Yet, but yeah,
the brake fade happens, and he basically bails, kind of wrecks into some straw
Hay
bales,
yeah.
and he goes down another lap. So then they've got to come in, change out the brakes, and at that time, Ferrari comes in at the same time and gets all new tires and fuel and takes off before they can get out of there again.
But you could hear his brakes were.
Yeah, his brakes were done.
Yeah, you heard them.
Yeah,
they were
and no brakes. So they don't have the ability to change their brakes out like Ford does. And then they throw a big ass fit. You can't just change those parts out because I can change any part on that car that I want. The brakes are a part. I can change them out.
We read your damn rule book.
Yeah, point to me the rule where it says I can't change out that part for that car.
Yeah.
I can't change an upper right assembly on my damn car. Show me where it says that at.
Right.
Pulls it off, boom, puts it back in, and off to the races again we go. And now we're 2 laps down, and we're
He's trying to pass Ferrari.
8 to 10 hours into the race already. So we're almost at the halfway point.
And he does. He passes him twice.
And he passes him on the first time. And
he tries to pass him, but he's not able to pass him just yet. And he gets frustrated with himself. And they come in, they pit again. Ferrari's fuel line had burst. And they're like, well, that happened because he's trying to keep up with you. And so it takes some time for them to be able to fix the vehicle.
got to wear that car down.
Yeah.
Is what they had to do.
And I love throughout the race, too, there's moments of during the rain, Carroll Shelby goes over and he steals some of the stopwatches. And he's like, oh, that's a nice stopwatch. He's like,
Italian.
yeah, it's Italian. You want one?
I love the part where he takes the nut and just throws it over to
Oh
where
my
they're
God,
sitting there.
yeah.
They're freaking out. Where'd that come
Where'd
from?
that come from?
Oh my God, you forgot a nut. That
Right.
thing's going to wreck.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's classic.
That's
right
the
there.
Jesus bolt. Yeah.
I forget what part it was, but one of the other Ferrari team members blows out as they're trying to catch him.
Yeah.
And wrecks. So it's just down to him and their main driver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're got to be in last 4 hours of the
Last
race.
stretch of it, yeah.
And they're going at it neck and neck, and the Ferrari finally gives out.
Blows the engine.
Blows the engine because they couldn't run it that long.
Yeah.
Pushing 9,000 RPM.
Oh yeah, he was pushing 9,000 RPMs
back
the
stretch.
entire time.
Yeah.
As hard as he could.
Just to keep up.
Just to stay ahead, just to be that far ahead of Ford and Miles. And the car finally just gave out, and Ken Miles sees him blow up basically, and he realizes, I'm going to win Le Mans. I'm going to win it.
Yeah,
There's
because he's my only competition.
there's nobody else even close.
But unfortunately, it's not as easy as, I can just win the race now.
Yeah.
Josh Lucas's
fucking
character.
knew.
God,
He knew.
Oh, that whole idea of them crossing all at the
What
same
if-
time.
It's a
All
monumental
three.
moment for Ford.
Yeah. All 3 cars at the same time. What a picture that would
Man,
be.
if I'd have been
It's
Ken
so-
Miles, I'd have
so-
goosed it at the last second. I won. The other two could be
He-
2 and 2. I don't give a shit, but I'm coming in first.
Josh
But-
Lucas's character goes to Shelby and he says, hey, this is coming down from top brass. This is happening. You need to tell your driver that. And he throws a fit. He's like, get away from me. Get away
Don't
from me.
even-
Don't,
don't
even
Talk to
do
my
it.
driver.
Yeah. And there's even a time too where they keep ringing the phone down to don't answer that phone. Don't you answer
Don't
that
even
phone.
pick it up.
Right.
Well, at one time he called down there and told the kid to put on the sign to tell Miles to go easy.
Slow her
to
down.
Slow down. And
For seemingly
Shelby
no
went out
reason,
there-
honestly.
Why would you slow down during this race? This is the race that makes it all.
Yeah.
because he
Blow the
didn't want him
engine.
to
He
win.
blows the
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. He
Yeah.
didn't want him to win.
Because he's
I don't
just
give a
that
shit.
fucking petty.
Yeah.
Male ego, man. Male ego.
Craziness.
So pathetic. You really do. Fuck up something so easy.
Right. 3 cars go down through. Ken Miles is nugget hair of head.
Well, before that, Ken Miles made a statement with breaking the lap record twice.
Yes.
And the last time.
And
he broke his record.
Yeah,
He-
he broke his own record
Twice.
twice and then slowed down and let them catch up and
There's a good moment too where they
took one for the team.
oh, that's the perfect lap.
Yeah, it was the perfect lap.
Yeah,
That was 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and his son knew it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. Yeah. There's a couple times, too, where Carroll Shelby is like, you could tell he knew what he was doing because he's like, easy, easy.
Not yet.
Not yet.
There it is.
There it is. Do it. Yeah. So cool.
Go driving.
Go ahead.
Is really good. I like that a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
So.
The cinematography is incredible in this movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cinematography and sound are top notch, which
Very
is I think that's what they won
Mhm.
Oscars for.
Did they?
Yeah, they won 2 Oscars. I don't remember which ones were for.
All GT40s crossed 1, 2, 3, and Ken Miles has just this huge grin on his
'cause,
face.
like,
He
He's
thought he won.
He won.
yeah. And he pulls on through, and then oddly enough, everybody starts cheering and running to Barry McLaren. And he's like, what the hell's going on?
He started further back.
He started further back.
Which
So that
I
means he
think
had to
is
travel the extra.
Pure bullshit.
It won for best sound editing and best film editing.
Yeah,
That makes
so
sense.
I think that was because the race starts when you run to your car.
Yeah.
That's how it works, and it's stupid. I think it shouldn't start until you cross the finish line on the first lap.
Yep.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
But no, the only way he would have won if he wouldn't have slowed down, because he would have made up that extra amount during that time.
He had 4 laps on one of them.
Yeah. They had to wait for.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he lost because of a fucking bullshit technicality.
Because his boss is an asshole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both.
But both of them.
So Ken Miles again, you think he's gonna lose it, and Carroll Shelby's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man," and he said, "Well,
Ken Miles knew he was the best driver that day.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
He
He's-
didn't have anything
It
else
was
to
just a
prove anybody.
technicality.
Yeah.
well, you promised me
The drive.
the drive,
Not the win.
not the win." And he said, "You know, I was thinking the chassis. There's a couple things that we could do with this car for next year. So
Shave 500 pounds off of it and make it all.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I think
So-
you mentioned something about putting wedges somewhere. I think.
That was
That was-
so. That was the idea, was because the ground clearance. That was beginning early. That was when he came in. Whenever he's like the
Oh,
first
yeah,
time
yeah.
was like, hey, you're not going to go to the race. You're not going to Le Mans the first time. But the wedges he's going to put underneath the chassis, because they would give the ground clearance, but they would give more downforce.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because they were having a problem with downforce. How it
Yeah,
wanted to
the
lift.
nose wanted to lift.
lift up in the turn. What they were going to do, they were going to make more downforce.
so that would
they
make
added
the
the-
turns
Which is what
easier."
they do. Which is what they do in NASCAR now.
Yes.
A lot of wedges. That tail can be angled to create more downforce.
Yeah.
On your vehicle.
That's what they get the hold back there. They move a bolt in there and it wedges it up or down. Yeah.
It's all very technical.
For sure,
Definitely. Yeah.
crazy.
Over my head.
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer.
Just put my foot down on the gas and car go vroom.
That's what I do.
Yep.
That's what I go into the garage in Forza and I pick the car I want and then I hit the button and we go fast.
Yeah.
We go fast.
I go fast right now.
Or unless it's an off-road track, and then
I
you
still go
Go
fast.
fast,
Yep.
and then you spin
Swerve-
out. And
yeah,
then
watch
you
out for
lose
the tree.
race.
Yep.
The trees and rocks are horrible.
But if you're going fast enough, you can drive through them.
There you go.
But you got to be going fast.
The next scene is get the speech from Carroll Shelby again about 7,000 RPM.
RPMs.
Ken Miles is testing around, and he is not wearing a flame suit on this one. He's
No, he's
just,
just wearing jeans and t-shirt.
and unfortunately, brake fade
fade
for the
again.
third time and takes his life. So, how Ken Miles actually dies.
Well, that one
With
too
his kid
was
watching,
With his
too.
kid
was
watching as
completely
well.
lighter. So they didn't do the aluminum; they did honeycomb, which is way lighter. So honeycomb is kind of like, I don't know, it's like carbon fiber almost, but it's different.
Really?
So it's strong. It has the integrity of steel almost,
Well,
but it's light as
yeah,
shit.
because it's hollow.
It's hollow, yeah. So what it does, so they were running matte, which dropped it even more than aluminum chassis. So it was honeycomb. So I think the brake fade had a lot to do with it. But I think the idea of it was, hey, we just have this car built ready for testing. It's the first time he tested it.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't really have much safety involved in it yet,
Mm-hmm.
or that
This is the 60s,
it was initial, right? It was in
The
Mach
prototype.
3. It was a Mach 3 prototype, the first
Yeah.
one they built.
Yeah.
And the brake fade happened, and all that happened, and that's what happened. I think he rolled it, and I think that's what killed him was the roll, because he rolled it on that
It was
one.
on top and he
He
couldn't
was
get
on
out.
two, couldn't get out.
Wow.
And it
The way
crushed him.
the way that door closes,
Yeah.
it closes into the roof
Yep.
of the car. So if it's upside down, sitting on that door, there's
You're
no
not
way
getting
you
it
were
out.
going to get it open.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
and it's on fire.
Yeah, you'd have to break the window, and I'd imagine.
You're not breaking that window because it was all plexiglass.
It's all it's plexiglass and plastic and.
Yeah, you're not breaking the window.
Pop it out if you're lucky.
Maybe it was all riveted in.
So
then it flash forward about 6 months after
his
death. Shelby's still not over it. They have a new driver for the new GT40.
Well, they had a new driver come in.
Yeah.
And he drove it for an hour.
Yeah, he tells him.
It's a good car.
It's a great car. Drive it for an hour. You're gonna drive it for 24, you dumbass.
Yeah, so he's not over it at all.
Yeah.
No.
Carroll Shelby is still slinging cars and.
Yep.
Well, at that point, if you looked in there, he had Mustangs at that point.
Yeah.
He had Mustangs at that point.
Okay.
That's when he had the Mustangs. He's building the GT500s.
Nice. Okay.
Eleanor.
Yeah, Eleanor. Solid.
He hasn't seen that yet.
What?
Really?
And you have to pay
Gone
for
in
it.
60 seconds?
What?
Yeah, I can't stream it anywhere.
Aw.
Oh, yeah, you told me to watch that. Yeah, I have to find a way to watch it somehow.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Top notch.
Mm-hmm.
Way different than this movie. It's
Well,
just about stealing cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys got to steal 50 cars.
Still has a Shelby in it, though.
Does have a Shelby.
Yep. So.
Poor thing. God, it gutted me. It gutted me. Oh, see that beautiful machine put through what it's put through.
Mm-hmm.
My baby. My child.
Kidding me?
Yep. Anyway,
All right, so that's the end of the movie.
Shelby gives the wrench that.
Oh, that's right. He goes back and sees the kid, takes the wrench
takes
to
the
him.
wrench to check out his head. Yeah.
Which we neglected to mention that. I think we mentioned that he threw a wrench, but Shelby wanted it framed.
Framed,
And
yeah.
Put it in his office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That same wrench he gave to his kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because it was Ken's wrench.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ken threw it at him, so he kept it and framed it, and now he's going to give it back to the kid and hopefully give him some solace or something.
Closure or something. Yeah.
Because even he's like, sometimes words just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just not useful.
Mm-hmm. So.
That's for sure.
Get a nice scene of him tearing up, and then he takes off in his Cobra and end the movie.
Exactly how that car should be driven.
Yeah.
Bad out of hell.
Kill for one.
You can get kit cars now for him.
Yeah.
Make a kit car
Not the
out of
same, though.
I know, but
It still looks nice, but it's not a 427.
put a 427 in it.
Yeah, I can afford that.
On mailman pay.
Just saying.
Could happen. So, what do you guys think? Any final thoughts on Ford versus Ferrari?
No, that was a
We-
really good movie.
It
Yeah.
was nominated for Best Picture.
It was.
It was.
It's
it
a-
did
it's
not
a-
win, but it
a
This
was
is crazy. What did it lose to?
let's find out. 92nd.
I was telling Lee that this is our second episode where we have I would definitely call JD a semi-expert, if not a expert on vehicles. So,
Car
Parasite.
enthusiast.
is there,
Parasite.
Parasite did? Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I could see why it would win over this. Not saying that it's a better movie than this, but I could see why people would say that. Do you have any technical aspects of this movie that?
So car wise, no, I think everything was very accurate. It was
Really?
accurate. Like you had it back when they were having the downforce issue and they added the tail wing. You know, they add the wing to it, they could create more downforce in the rear. The wedges to create more downforce in the front. Watching the upper right assembly for the brakes. It was all very this makes sense. This makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there was nothing car wise. No.
Yeah.
I wish they would kind of went more in the fact of Shelby's story more instead of having a 10-minute clip and that was it. Maybe kind of go deeper into it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's kind of
They
first
didn't-
time I watched this movie. This is the first time I watched this movie. The first time I watched this movie, I really didn't notice. After watching it now, oh, I didn't even remember that part because it's so quick.
Right.
It's boom. Here's Carroll Shelby. Here's an introduction of him. And that's it.
I definitely
It doesn't
wouldn't mind
show how he created the company.
Yeah, I
how
definitely
this
wouldn't
happened.
mind.
They didn't get into
movie
the
with
legend of
just
Carroll Shelby as
Right.
enough.
I think they should have had a little bit more in there because I think it would have kind of made more. If you don't know who Carroll Shelby is,
Yeah.
it's
not
not
as
in this movie.
impressive.
You're not really gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess he had the company before then. No, you got to really know who he is before you kind of watch this movie.
Right.
Do a little bit of research, but I mean, you don't have to. It's still a good movie, but if you kind of want that more historical value out of it, yeah, do your research in it.
See, I didn't know Lee Iacocca. You were telling me that he
He ran Chrysler after he left Ford.
he created Chrysler, or he just ran it?
No.
Hell no.
I was gonna say,
No, he ran
no,
Chrysler
no,
in the
no,
80s and damn near ran him into the ground.
really? Wow.
Saw that coming.
Yeah, his
They
idea
put
of
out
the Dodge
some-
Charger.
They put out some dog shit cars, like the K car. That's all Lee
That's
Iacocca.
crap.
It's the K car. Hang on.
Oh, dude. It was a cheap POS.
What do you? Was it just K car?
Yeah,
K car.
Put K car.
K car.
I mean, their 80s version of the Charger was basically was a redone Fox body, but it was shit.
Yep.
She's
nice, ain't she?
She's a pert.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like every nondescript car in every movie you've ever
it's just
seen.
like,
Yeah.
If you were to point out a car, that'd be the car.
It's like if you're driving, playing Driver 2. I mean,
That is the great value brand of car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like that do be a car. It do be a car.
It does car things
So
on a minimal scale.
Yes.
Oh, very minimal.
Barry McLaren, though, the guy that won
Dude,
the Le Mans, he created the McLaren racing
No
company.
way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Those cars are fast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet.
McLaren P1.
So,
It's a great
I think
pick.
it's a
Yeah.
good movie.
It was a
So-
real good pick. I'm glad you suggested it.
yeah, thank you, JD. Yeah, that was great. Colton, you want to run through our rating system for us?
We operate on an S through F tier scale. We have S, only 10 movies can occupy, which are occupied by Jaws, way back. Exorcist?
Yes.
Exorcist?
And
Elf.
Elf,
Yep.
the Pretender. So we've been told.
Yeah.
So that is 4 movies. If we reach the 10
Threshold.
we have to boot a movie from the S
Yeah.
Yep.
tier.
You're going to have to vote one out.
Which I don't think we're just booting it out. We're probably just going to downgrade it to A.
Yeah.
Well,
A+.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
A plus.
Booted out of the S tier.
Yeah.
Then we have
A, which is great movie.
Mhm.
I'd say like above average movie.
Yeah.
Superior movie.
Yeah.
It's just really good. There's,
Very
like,
few flaws.
very minor like mistakes, problems with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
B is above average. It's good, but there's a few things that are keeping it from being an A.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a,
Yeah.
C is average.
Might
It's
watch
just-
it, might not watch it again. Who knows?
Yeah, it's just it's a movie.
Yeah.
D is borderline terrible,
Yeah.
like just
Dog
Not
shit.
good.
dog shit. F is The Unmentionables. You
Failure.
should not watch it
Yeah.
under any circumstance.
Unless you're torturing somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, having said that, what do you give Ford versus Ferrari?
Me,
You.
I want to hear everyone else's first.
All right.
Because I'm
Start with JD then.
So JD,
Man.
what would you give Ford versus Ferrari? This is your pick.
I think it's an A.
An A?
Straight
Really?
A or A plus?
A plus. I
Okay.
mean, it would be an S, but we need a little bit more backstory from Carroll Shelby.
right.
I would like to see more of the backstory from Carroll Shelby.
All right.
I gotcha.
Everything else is on point.
A plus.
A plus.
What do you think?
Man, I'm gonna be doing it, man. I'm gonna give this an S. This is
Really?
superior film. Me being like your basic average Joe. I know a lot about it a little bit, but I don't know a little bit of a lot.
You know a little about a lot of things, but you don't know a lot about anything.
Yeah.
That's
And
confusing.
especially when it comes to cars, man. Straight up, like, hey JD, what's up, man? You know. So
My car's not working. Can fix it.
please,
I have no idea what's going on.
you're right.
Right.
I need more blinker fluid. So.
You might.
So anyway, me coming from this background and then going from the cargo fast vroom to wow, there's so much technicality to this, and every time I've seen this, I'm like, wow, it surprises me every time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's a good movie, but then when I rewatch it, I realize how good
Good it is.
it actually is. And I know it's a 2.5 hour runtime, but I really don't feel the 2.5 hours
I honestly
at
feel
all.
like it could
kinda
go
did.
longer.
I kinda
Yeah.
felt the
Like
length.
what you said with like more backstory with Shelby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Tack on an extra 30 minutes there.
I see. I know you guys might think that, but I personally feel like this is at the perfect length. Okay, because I do get a little bit of backstory, and then whenever you say Shelby, I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if that has to do with the Ford series of Shelbys. So I kind of can make that connection like right off the bat, and I'm like, okay, so this influenced this later on.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
might just be a car thing for me, being like I want more of a Carroll Shelby backstory.
Right.
on it,
Right.
just more out of it, but that just it might be just my.
I got you.
The mystique
Geeking
behind
out.
the Shelby name, is always going to carry a lot of weight
Always.
in this country.
Yeah.
For people that follow, automotive sports, stuff like that. The man built amazing machines, and they were amazing to look at, and they ran like
Nobody's
wildcats,
business.
man. They
Damn
were
near perfect cars,
fucking
even.
amazing.
Yeah.
You give it an S.
I'm giving it an S, yeah.
I kind of felt the length of the movie a
Okay.
little bit. It was a little... Of course, we were watching on a platform that supported ads, which made it a little crappy.
Yeah, that.
So,
Thankfully, though, there was only like 2 ad breaks.
yeah, but one of them
at
was
the
like
beginning.
3 minutes long.
Oh, God.
You guys could have watched it on my Vudu.
We had it on Prime, so we just watched it. The acting was top notch.
Yeah.
The story was great. The cinematography good. Sound obviously amazing. It won a damn Oscar. Was nominated for Best Picture. I could definitely see it being nominated that year. It's very strong. A bit long for me. A little bit more, like JD was saying, a little more backstory on Carroll Shelby would have been really nice, because I don't feel they really hit that legendary status of Carroll Shelby. When you say Shelby to JD, it's instant. Like, I know what you're talking about. This dude was huge. He built the best cars. He was an American icon. You say it to somebody like you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
That's
Ford.
great.
Yeah, so a Ford, right?
No.
No, a Shelby Cobra. That's what you want. I give it a straight A, which is still high praise for me, I believe. I don't give a lot of A's. I think it's a great film. I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I would probably watch it again, some night when I don't have anything to do. And if it was on, I wouldn't shut it off.
Yeah.
So I give it an A.
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as Calvin.
Yeah.
I think it's an S.
I think it's an S. It's just really good.
Yeah.
I just don't really have that many complaints.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who's knows minimal car knowledge,
Right.
it's just it's great to watch. It's great to look at.
Yeah.
It's just no complaints really.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
So S, A+, and A. I guess we'll go A+.
I'm down for A+. Absolutely.
High A+.
Yeah.
Excellent pick.
Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing this on.
Redeem the raid.
I did.
And I'm sure David would be on the same page. We have a lot of the same taste. I'll guarantee you David has high praise for this movie. And
Absolutely.
we're going to get that at a later date.
Yeah. We're going to... So for the last movie and for this one, we'll have David tack on like a little snippet,
I think
of what
the
he thinks.
movie was good.
It was great.
Have him read it like it's like a card.
Right.
Monotone as hell.
And I'll just tack it on right at the
I
end.
give it a blank because it was great.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to read blank. Oh,
Right. So, well, thank you so much for coming on the show. The technical aspects of it always kind of fascinate me. So I really like it whenever we get somebody that's very knowledgeable and something that we're reviewing, because it's really, really interesting to.
It offers a lot of insight.
Yeah, and a lot of context.
On something a lot of people don't really either know.
No.
Makes the conversation a lot better.
For sure. So, cool. Appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
So.
All right. Well, welcome back, Dave.
What's up?
What's up?
Oi, oi.
I'm a little late to the party.
No,
Sorry.
you're good.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Ford versus Ferrari?
I think this is an all-around great movie.
Yeah.
I think it's filmed great, written great, cinematography is great, story is great. I think both actors played their characters like to a T.
Perfect.
It's an enjoyable movie. I've seen it a couple times, and if it's on, I would definitely sit and watch it.
For sure.
It's funny. You see this one on TikTok a lot, just like, when he takes the Ford guy for a ride in the car. You see those little clips because they're so well made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All in all, a very, very enjoyable movie. I think I'd give this one an A.
An A?
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid
Wow.
A.
Solid
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
It's actually-
me and Calvin gave it S's. Lee and JD, like A's?
I said A-.
A minus.
minus.
Yeah.
I think he gave it a straight A.
Yeah. So I think we averaged out at A+.
A+.
So.
A plus.
I'd
Yeah.
say give it an A plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's a great movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. So cool.
All right.
All right. Thanks.